Welcome to a new Draw My Life video.
Hey there TikTakers, and welcome to a new Scary Tuesday. Today we bring you the adaptation of a different creepypasta based on one of the bloodiest and most popular fighting video games, the Mortal Kombat. Well, we assure you that it can be even bloodier and more disturbing. Ready? Game on! I'm writing this to warn anyone of what might happen if they try this cursed version of the video game. Many years have passed and I think I'm ready to talk. What I saw on that screen, I still don't know if it was real or just a hallucination caused by too many hours playing. But whatever it was, it had horrible consequences for me and those around me. At Christmas that year, like the rest of my friends, I had asked my parents to give me the new Mortal Kombat, but they refused because they said the game was too violent. At the time, I didn't know how right they were. I was walking down the street when I saw a small market in the backyard of a house. I took a quick look, but I couldn't find anything that would interest a boy my age. A sad, head-down man with his arm in a sling and several bandages left the house. When he saw me, he said he had something for me, and he brought out a box with a lot of video games, including the new Mortal Kombat. He told me to take whatever I wanted, that they belonged to his son, but he wasn't going to use them anymore. I couldn't believe it. I finally had the game, and I didn't have to pay anything. As I returned home, eager to try it out, I noticed that the cover looked different. The faces of the characters in the photos had grotesque gestures, everything was tinged with a blood red tone, and in the logo of the title there were two acronyms, SE. I got even more excited when I thought I had a special edition, and I called my best friend to come and play with me. We were both fans of the fighting genre, and we always tried new releases together. I've never had a buddy like him again. When we turned on the console, we discovered on the title screen that the acronym SE really meant Satanic Edition. We hadn't heard of that version, but it seemed like a promising claim. Suddenly, the screen darkened and a simple message appeared. You're about to enter the Mortal Kombat Satanic Edition. There will be no going back. Are you sure you're continuing? With no hesitation, we pressed continue. Suddenly, the usual tune of the game began to play, but with a slower pace and a more pitiful tone. Also, if you stood up, you could hear a background noise, which sounded a lot like human moans and cries. We were impressed with the production of the game, but the biggest surprise came in the character selection menu. A new combatant appeared that I hadn't seen in any of the previous versions. It was a sinister demon with wings, horns, and a red body, which was called Dark Demon. I quickly anticipated my friend and selected him. The strange thing is that at that time, the title of the screen, which said Choose Your Player, turned into Ready to Die. My friend selected his favorite classic character, Sub-Zero. He was actually a lot better than me. He knew all the combos and fatalities. So I needed whatever advantage that new character could give me. It turned out to be very powerful, so much that I won the first round almost effortlessly. I actually had the strange feeling at times that the demon was moving at its own will, ignoring my controls and bashing the opponent. When I looked back at my friend, I noticed something strange. He had a terrible face, looked exhausted, and was sweating nervously. I asked him, and he told me that he was fine, that he wanted to keep playing. I will never forget his words. I've gotten too immersed in the game. We continued. In the second round, after a lot of effort, he managed to take revenge and beat me by a very narrow margin. I remember on that occasion, I was the one who had a feeling of intense cold when he froze me with his attack, and an extreme exhaustion that was becoming painful. He looked at me strangely, with a sinister expression of victory and wrath. But instead of scaring me, I felt more stimulated and challenged him with a, "Come on, let's keep going." The fight was bloody and fierce, with both of us fighting to the limit of our strength, as if we knew there was something more important involved. Each blow hurt me as if it had really been given to me. I also remember my partner's grunts of suffering. The two best friends were suddenly the deadliest enemies. And at the last moment, when we were at our limits, I won. I was completely euphoric. I had a sense of power I had never felt before. With a terrible thirst for blood, I did the combination of moves necessary for the final finish. Suddenly, I regained consciousness and felt something wet and warm in my hand. I turned around and noticed that I had the heart of my friend still beating, which I had ripped directly from his chest. I raised my head and could see how he was looking at me with panicked, glassy eyes, which seemed to say that his life had been too short. I could not believe it when I saw my hands bloodied and the froth coming out of his mouth. I stood there without thinking, feeling pitiful of myself. Killing in a video game seems easy, but in reality, I think that at that moment I felt almost as terrified as he did. And I was even more terrified when suddenly there was an intense heat in the room and a red glow coming from my back. It started to dye everything around me. I tried to look around, but some claws immobilized me from behind. On the screen, there was now an endless bed of corpses piled up and half-eaten. I was overcome with nausea and was about to puke when a breath, accompanied by a strong sulfur smell, whispered behind me. Ready for another game?
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!